All right, it's time for the follow-up video, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks later for the WarTech pocket folder. Um, I'll just jump right into it. This knife, I don't want to say it was underwhelming because it performed like a knife should. I was kind of excited to try something out, especially with this blade type here. I just feel underwhelmed with it in the end. It's a good knife. I didn't have any problems with it at all, but it's still stiff when you open up. Like I've been using it for almost 3 weeks, probably 50 times a day. I pulled this thing out and flipped it open just to try to, loosen it up. And I finally, after 2.5, almost 3 weeks, finally got it to a point where when I flick it, well, not now, but when I have my hand down and I'm flicking it open, it opens on the first go around. So still incredibly stiff, even after all this time using it. But at the same time, it's still incredibly sharp after all this time using it, cutting open boxes, popping zip ties. I mean, it made quick work of anything that I put it up against for the most part. So, I'm a little underwhelmed, but it still performed better than some of the knives that I have used on here that I had a lot more interest in. I thought I could get around the blade shape and it would be something I would end up appreciating, but I'm still not a fan of the way this is designed and shaped here. Tried to puncture a couple of the plastic jugs from the product that I use. It doesn't make a good stabber very much, but a cutter and even a chopper does pretty good on here. I feel like if I were to keep this knife, it would probably be like in a camping pack, using it to cut meat and sides, carrots, things like that. In fact, my wife said she actually really likes the design of the blade, and she wants it after this video for that specific reason, as a camping knife. So I feel a little better about that. But all in all, it was pretty comfortable in my hands using it. It's weighted really well, and the grip that I have on here was a pretty decent grip for me. I didn't have any slips or issues with it when I was using it. That little clip in my right hand, that clip feels a little funny. It feels a little out of place in my dominant hand, but holding it in my left hand, it feels like it was made for my left hand, which is kind of beyond the point because I don't really use my left hand too much when I'm using knives and I'm doing stuff. But if you're left-handed, this knife might fit really well for you. It might fit well for you if you're right-handed too. I've got these big meaty hands that need more space apparently. But aesthetically, I still love that blue metallic on that gunmetal silver, the gunmetal gray. That's still a gorgeous look. I couldn't get over the shape of the blade. It's just not my favorite design on there. So aesthetically, it's a nice knife. There's probably a lot of people out here that see this and this really works for them, and all the better for it. But for me, aesthetically, it's not my bag. As for functionality, it functioned very well for what a knife should function for, to an extent. Like I said, stabbing, puncturing, actually kind of blunted that tip a little bit, just trying to shove it through plastic. It's a hard plastic. It's like an HDPE poison control bottle, but blunted that tip a bit. The cutting edge of this knife is still very sharp, still very, very cuttable for what it's worth. So aesthetically, it's a nice looking knife, except for the blade. The weight of it is a good weight. It's all metal all the way through. I like that weight to it. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel cheaply made. Comfortability, I'd give like a 7 out of 10, which is still pretty decent for me. The size of it, it's right on the edge of being too small for me. I decided after using it for like the last 2.5, 3 weeks, definitely want something a little bigger. But that being said, the next knife I'm going to do isn't a little bigger either, so that'll be a point of contention for me, I'm sure. So all in all, I'd give this knife the WarTech, which I bought on Wish for next to nothing. I think total it was like $14. I don't have those numbers in front of me. I should have wrote them up before this video so I didn't have to guess. But you know how it goes. Anyways, it was like 14, 18 bucks, I think, total for this knife. And for a camping knife, I would definitely buy this again for that chopping blade there. But that's about it. I probably wouldn't buy this again as an everyday carry for me. Again, my wife is excited about it, so I'm gonna give this to her. And 7 out of 10. So I mean, I don't really have too much bad to say. It's still stiff. Functionality, sturdiness, it's incredibly sturdy, almost too sturdy. And I didn't loosen it up. I didn't want to touch any of the bolts or screws or anything on this because I wanted to see how it would function on its own. But this isn't a clone of any kind. This is an official dealer. They just happened to be dealing on Wish when I bought this knife, in a big group purchase that I made off of Wish. So this is an official knife. There, you can find this at official dealers. It's got the actual patent number and serial number and all that stuff on the blade, which you know, looks pretty authentic. The etching on here for the WarTech looks pretty authentic, and it's a very well put together knife. Just again, not my bag of tea. Would give it probably 7 out of 10. If this is your thing, it's a good knife for you. For me, it's not that good of a knife, but it's sharp as the day I opened it, which is kind of cool, except for the blunted tip. Anyways, that's the WarTech. If you guys have any questions on this, if you want to know how it functioned in any kind of particular way, just shoot me a message. Let me know. If you want me to do any kind of crazy thing with it, I'll make an extra video and pop it up. But I mean, it is a pocket knife, a pocket folder. You can only expect so much out of these. I did have somebody talk to me the other day about potentially doing fixed blade knives, which might be something I'm looking into. And then I've had somebody talk to me about doing flashlights, which I'm still wrapping my head around because most flashlights, I don't really know too much about, but these knives, I have a better grasp on it. Anyways, I have ordered a couple flashlights that I'm going to try out, because I use flashlights almost every day in my line of work, as well as knives, which is kind of funny, but that's for another time. Anyways, thanks again for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Check out my Lost Treasures of America videos. I am working on the next one currently, be uploaded very soon. I appreciate you guys' subscribes and your likes, and thanks for watching.